So what you're going to see today is a previous practice test and show you how to do corrections, how I do corrections. And remember, I'm a self-taught top 1% SAT scorer, so I learned how to do this the hard way. I did it the long way, but it worked. It's very efficient, something you can do for yourself. And don't forget, this is a free resource, and it's made by College Board, the same people who make the SAT. As you see, I've gone through the practice test. I'm on question number 3. In the notes, however, in my SAT dedicated notebook, I headlined the page with the proper test that I'm on and the date, and I also numbered the question 1.3, 1 being the math section and 3 being the actual question. Remember, there's 2 math sections. You don't want to get these numbers mixed up. I see a lot of people mix those numbers up. So if you did 1.3 or if you did 2.3 for section 2, question 3, that'll be very helpful. You know, when I say annotate, when I say paraphrase, this is what I'm talking about. I just drew the image, I wrote down the question, find X, and then I used Google to help me understand what it meant. Obviously, I didn't have to do this myself, but I'm doing this for you. This is the process you need to be doing for yourself. If you didn't quite realize that these are vertical angles, if you didn't realize that vertical angles are congruent, you know, the description in the solution does use the word vertical angles and congruent. Google those words if you don't understand what they're trying to tell you. And then draw yourself a little image on the side as a note, and now you have your answer, x equals 145. For question number 1.5, in my mind, and this might happen to you, I came up with a way to solve. I solved for x. You see me doing that. I'm using the blue pen to highlight the extra work that I'm doing, the work shown as I describe it. And then I get x equals 1. And then I use the word so. And notice I've used the word so twice already for 1.3 and now for 1.5. And again for 1.5, I use it again. The word so is a good transition word. It connects concepts. So in my notes, it's not just a bunch of numbers and letters and symbols. I'm using words to help me organize what's happening. That's really helpful. And then I read the solution and I realize they did it a different way. And that's okay that they did it a different way. They divided everything by 4 to quickly get x minus 7. Even if I don't like that, I'm going to show my work. Maybe after a few tries, you actually do find it helpful. Maybe you do like it. So definitely show their way as long as you understand it. Number 1.7, we have one data table, and they're telling us that we're going to make another data table by adding 121 as a new data point. So I annotated that as just a list of numbers, and I used the word versus because they do want me to compare the original data set versus the new one. I didn't do that in my paper. Maybe I should have written down original versus new. That would have been really helpful as well. Now, the word mean is something you have to understand. Mean is going to be the sum of the data divided by the number of data, which is like basically you add up all the data points and then you divide by the amount of data points. Okay, maybe that sounds more complicated than it really is, but you do it on the calculator. You add up the 149 through 139, and then you divide by 5. That's how I got 143.2. I did the same thing for the other data set, except I divided by 6 because it's now 6 data points. So it's 139.5. So now we can clearly see the original is bigger. I read the solution and I realize there's a shortcut. Since 121 is definitely smaller, it's a smaller data point than all the others, the whole mean is going to be smaller. Like, there's no math needed. You see, they're introducing new logic. At least maybe you already thought of that, maybe you didn't. But there you go. Now you know a smaller data point was added, so then we know for sure the mean is smaller. This question could literally take you like 15, maybe 30 seconds if you get comfortable with the terminology and just the ideas. All right, guys, take a good look at this page. You see I over highlighted an orange pen as well. That's like the idea of maybe a few days later you want to study. That's how you can study. Grab a new color, grab a highlighter, and go over some of these things and remind yourself what happened during these questions. I picked out easy questions, so don't sleep on this technique. If you thought this was all easy and stupid, I hope you understand that the potential goes way deeper into bigger questions. Some questions take up a whole page. And if you're going to be a 700 score, if you want a 700 on the math section, you're going to deal with stuff like that. Anyways, this is the best way to do corrections on your own. It's incredibly efficient. I hope this video means a lot to you, and I hope it helps you. Thank you.